I saw this laptop posted on Facebook Marketplace for the low price of $68. It was a Lenovo ThinkPad T430 with a 3rd-gen Core i5 and 4GB of DDR3 RAM. It also came with a 320GB mechanical hard drive. I had a conversation with the seller and got the price down to around $53, which I think is really worth it considering that this is a perfectly usable laptop aside from the junky 20-minute battery life. After going all the way to the seller's location and getting the laptop, I got it on my table and got to work. I should note I am not a professional and I'm just working on this laptop, having worked only on one other device before, and that is actually my own personal device. First off, I flipped the laptop on its back, unclipped the battery and unscrewed the trim holding the hard drive covering. Unfortunately, removing the hard drive is made harder but not impossible due to the missing hard drive caddy, which I could have just pulled out had it been in there. So what I had to do next was push the CD drive out, unscrew the RAM cover and just pry it off. And from here I can also unscrew all the screws holding the back cover in. Flipping the laptop back over, I pried the keyboard up and out of the clips holding it in. After getting the keyboard out, I can unscrew the screws holding in the palm rest and start prying around the palm rest and undo the connection to the touchpad. I then push the hard disk out using the back of a tiny screwdriver. This is the only option I have since the caddy of the hard drive is also broken. Now I can put in this brand new 256GB SSD that I got from some Chinese company I've never heard of. I mean, I can't splurge and get an expensive SSD for this since this one only cost me $19. Anyways, after pushing the SSD in, I realized that the SSD plays around in the bay a little, which could end up breaking the connection or even worse, breaking the connector itself. I therefore employ some rolled up cardboard to stick between the SSD and the bay, which should hold the SSD in place. Perfect. I then spent 20 whole minutes trying to get the stupid speaker out, which for some reason has to be done in order to get access to the heatsink on this laptop. After all that, I can finally unscrew the heatsink and then I can get access to the CPU. Now that we have access to the crusty thermal paste, I can clean it off with some rubbing alcohol along with the heatsink. Next, I apply some thermal paste on the CPU. Also, make sure you don't spray the thermal paste manually since that could end up introducing air bubbles into the thermal paste, so just let the heatsink spray the thermal paste. Then I can put the heatsink back into place, tighten it down and also put the speaker back into place. I then cook around for a bit with a paintbrush because I've been watching a few too many Savory videos. Finally, I push the palm rest back into place and tighten the screws holding it in, push the keyboard back into its clips, flip the laptop on its backside and give the laptop 2 more gigabytes of thinking space. Then I just close everything up and we are done fixing this thing up. As you can see, this laptop looks really clean now and I'm really happy with how it ended up. I also really like its chunky exterior as it does make the laptop much more durable. I mean, Lenovo was really in a league of their own back in the day. And that SSD has made a huge impact on the performance of this laptop. Gaming time. First up was Grand Theft Auto, and this laptop can barely pump out 15 FPS on its lowest settings at 720p resolution. This really isn't made for gaming purposes. Next, I loaded up Need for Speed Hot Pursuit 2 and I see far better results. It holds a solid 30 FPS at the screen's native 1600 by 900 resolution, and it makes way more sense to play this kind of games and casual 2D games on this laptop. Besides this though, this laptop is much better than new laptops you can get for a budget of $200 or so that have 64GB of eMMC storage and less than 4GB of RAM. I mean, those things are complete and utter shit. Overall, I'm very happy with how this laptop turned out and is looking really clean by the end. I have spent $53 on the laptop, $19 for the SSD, and only $4 for the 2GB RAM stick. So I've spent a total of $76 on this thing, and you've got something that can really hold its own in day-to-day tasks with web browsing, watching YouTube, and so on. And if you actually manage to change the battery on this, it can also last for up to 7 hours, which would make this laptop a very good deal. Anyways, hope you guys liked the video. Thanks for watching and goodbye.